Welcome to Smellomania, a channel where I review fragrances by drawing pictures and telling the weirdest stories. Today I'm really excited because this is the first time I'll be reviewing a scent from the Italian perfume brand called Nasomato. They have released quite a few truly powerful and bizarre fragrances, and Black Afgano is one of them. Let me say that I feel intimidated by this smell, even a bit repelled. It definitely wasn't created to be nice and pleasing. It was created to scare people away or make them fear you. This fragrance is like some unbearable medicine that you just have to chug down. To make it easier for you, they added some fun, sweet raspberry flavor. Now that's better. They definitely set in the lab to themselves. With the carefree fruity flavor, it will be a lot easier to take it in. But this pill is so full of unknown chemicals and substances that the innocent berry flavor can barely mask them. Black Afgano was created in Amsterdam and made in Italy in 2009 by the perfumer Alessandro Gualtieri. It's the perfect example of the time 15 years ago when niche perfumery was slowly gaining momentum and the fragrances were so shockingly bold and boldly shocking. The fragrance aims to evoke the best quality of hashish. It reads on the box. It is the result of a quest to arouse the effects of temporary bliss. But is it though? Is it? Does it really have any resemblance to the aforementioned narcotic? Let me read out all of the notes to you. I decided to make these tiny cardboard drawings of various ingredients so that I could use them in future videos. Then I won't have to draw some fuzzy musk every single time and will be like, oud, incense, instant optimization. Because who really cares about the officially stated notes? 99% of the time, it's just a marketing trick, and the vast majority of us can only pick out 2 or 3 main notes, me being one of us, the fundamental building blocks of the composition. The remaining 20 or so notes exist only to support and to strengthen the central compositional axis. So the official notes in Black Afgano are cannabis, green notes, davana, saffron, thyme, resins, woody notes, tobacco, coffee, raspberry, cinnamon, violet, oud, incense, amber, tonka, animal notes, cedar, vanilla, guaiac wood, musk, gurkhan balsam, and ambroxan. Where would the world be without ambroxan? When I'm gathering information for my new video, I always wear that perfume everywhere I go. I mean everywhere. I write down ideas that come to me, and if I'm lucky, I even receive some engaging reactions to my sometimes seemingly out of place perfume choices. But this time, with Black Afgano, I must admit that I was intimidated by this indigo-colored liquid. And I didn't really wear it anywhere I went. Speaking of color, I tried to spray some Black Afgano on a white piece of fabric. Not that I could ever imagine someone actually wearing anything white together with this perfume, no. But for scientific purposes only. And yes, Black Afgano does stain. Surprise, surprise. I took my test even further and washed my experimental fabric. And it was a success. Conclusion. Be careful not to spray Black Afgano on white clothes because it will stain. However, the stain should go away after a simple wash. Not only is the perfume color alarming, the perfume itself is an eternal beast, everlasting, brutal, and it leaves a sillage that's almost visible to the naked eye. With such a heavy use of synthetic molecules, the perfume becomes almost like a chemical weapon. One will not go unnoticed even with one spray of this monstrosity of a perfume. Black Afgano is absolutely one-dimensional. It's loud, it's intimidating, it's shouting right in your face. The endless list of notes that I drew for hours just doesn't make any sense. The smell is like an ink stain, like a one-dimensional, single-colored blob. It just is a flat, non-evolving sound, just like beep. But that doesn't mean that such a fragrance can't be enjoyed and appreciated. On the contrary, there's definitely a strong desire for such a beast on the market. Black Afgano smells of smoke, which is somewhat sweet and sour. The very first time I smelled it, I couldn't stop thinking about raspberries, which are being cooked. No, rather they caught fire. The jam is boiling and dripping all over the flames, straight into the heat. It's as if someone set a raspberry jam on fire. And this sounds like it could be a legit metal song. Or maybe someone decided to throw their cigarette butts into an empty raspberry jar. Do you know how people sometimes make ashtrays from old jars? They fill them with water halfway through and start pickling their cigarette butts. Isn't this a common practice worldwide? Or was my childhood ruined? Cigarette butts inside an empty raspberry jam jar. The second metal single from the album. Now I'll add one more memory to this olfactory portrait of Black Afgano. During my architecture studies, I used to make countless amounts of models from cardboard and foam. We had a few foam cutters in our university which were always in the highest demand. It works like this. You take a piece of foam and run it through a red-hot wire. The foam is melting under your fingers and slowly smoldering with a sweet smell of melting plastic. Only a decade later did I learn that the fumes were somewhat toxic and we were supposed to wear face masks. But if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you that Black Afgano reminds me of that sweet, melting foam. After all of this, I have the weirdest vision brewing in my mind. The devil himself is boiling a colossal cauldron full of raspberry jam over a bonfire of smoldering plastic. And he has a fuzzy underbelly, because why not? I can already see that this review will be dark and for adults only. I have these really weird but really cool storybooks back from my dad's childhood, I guess. The stories in there are beyond wild. They're all about losing a limb, decapitation, being eaten alive, and the illustrations are also one of a kind. I mean, look at those wolves! And that bear is wearing pants? Oh, I love this one! This lady looks like she belongs on a pagan totem. When I was spending my time smelling of Black Afgano, all I could think about was a drawing of the devil and his cauldron in this cool, engraved, etched out style. These tiny books which were hidden away inside the deepest closets were the first thing that came to my mind during my analysis. I did a quick experiment off camera to see if I could remember the technique. I used ink for this one and black gouache for that one. I think I'll go with the more matte effect. It just looks better on camera to not have glossy surfaces. Now, how shall I transfer my funny sketch to the final piece? First, I'll have to get the colors right. The blue styrofoam will be on the lower left corner. The flames and the raspberry jam will be straight in the middle. And the devil will be standing on the right. First step, color everything with crayons. Every tiniest piece. No white can remain shining through, because I won't be able to scratch that part. Second step, cover all the beautiful color work you've just done with black wash paint. And leave it out to dry. Third step, start scraping away the paint. Black Afgano is dark, sexy, intimidating. Despite being marketed as a unisex perfume, to my nose, it definitely leans towards the masculine side. It's not safe for the office. It's not safe for a Sunday picnic. It's not safe for a romantic first date. And I wouldn't recommend it for a classy evening at the theater either. So, what is it good for? Well, maybe for an all-out rave party in Berlin, maybe for a visit to a Japanese rope bondage exhibition, or for a date night with full consent. It's simple, yet nothing similar has ever been created. It's flat, non-evolving. Yet, do you really need an ever-changing perfume to make a statement? Rachel Hess wrote in her book called The Scent of Desire about the time when people tried to create a fragrance that would cause fear. They concluded that people felt the strongest emotions when they faced a smell that they had never experienced before. A smell that didn't remind them of anything else in the world. Having no point of reference was deemed to be the scariest thing. When confronted with that weird new smell, people's brains try to figure out what they were smelling. Is it poisonous gas? Is it rotting food? Is it some dangerous chemical? On some level, I kind of felt the same with Black Afgano. I didn't know what I was smelling. A cacophony of happy-go-lucky raspberries and burning plastic? Some incense which makes you so dizzy that you feel like you've been spinning around for 2 minutes straight? I etched the devil himself. He's simply making some good old raspberry jam for his fellas. According to the ancient family recipe, you have to use styrofoam for the bonfire. This way, the jam will taste appropriately. I had so much fun creating this unhinged review for Black Afgano. I hope that you had as much fun while watching it. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.